in heaven. And number two, that family member finds out that, hey, there's a church coming and helping us. Boy, what could we do to reach people? These are just avenues I'm thinking about. Am I saying that's the avenue? No, I'm just saying suggestions. Just saying that things that we can do. But why would we not be willing to do those things? Why are we not willing to come to church whenever the weather forecast says there is a 10% possibility of 1/1,000,000th of 1 inch of one snow? Why are we not? Because we're not encouraged about it, to be honest with you. And we got to be truthful to ourselves. We've lost that encouragement. And God is trying to say that renewing a mind will give us that encouragement. That renewing a mind and recognizing who your enemy really is will help you be encouraged. Recognizing and really seeing your enemy for who he really is. Recognizing that he's not anything and not this big dragon that's breathing out this fire on you and is walking around going, I'll stomp on you if you don't do what I tell you to do. He can't do nothing we don't let him do. He cannot. We have got to allow to let Satan do things because we're a child of the Most High God. The power in us, Jesus clearly said, is greater. He said the power in us is greater than the power that's in the world and the power of Satan. Do we really, really believe that? And do we really recognize that when he brings these things to our mind every day? When he brings these things to our mind in the morning about how pitiful things are for us, and how pitiful our situations are right now? Do we really recognize that in all that we do? Do we? Do we really recognize this enemy and how he's really nothing? Or are we accepting what he says and getting down and out about it? Are we? Because if we was excited as people are about going to the Super Bowl. You know, I was studying the Bible and kind of watched a little bit of the ball game, but that stadium was packed. I don't know how many it holds, 80,000, whatever. And probably who knows how many outside that was tailgating, partying down, and having such a wonderful time. But I bet you if you'd have said, let's stop the ball game and preach the Word, it had probably hardly anybody left there. They sure wouldn't have been encouraged about God and excited about God. But they don't realize who they're serving. They don't realize who they're really serving and what they're really in store for. Just like the person that Bridget was talking about earlier. That person knows the difference. But they don't realize the consequences. They really don't. They don't realize the consequences that what that person and where he's wanting to take them to such a miserable state in jail or wherever it is. Really he wants them to die lost is what he wants. That's the main goal that he set out to do. Is for people to die lost. And she was talking about a young man that had or a person, I don't know what age he was, but he had problems with this, and I hope and pray that he had time. I do. I'm glad I'm not the judge. But if he did not, we've got to get busy, in other words, is what God is saying. Recognizing that there's an enemy out there that's really, he ain't got nothing on us. He ain't got a thing on us. And we need to renew our mind in this level too. What's renewing of the mind mean? It means that you get your mind set a different way. You get your mind set on a different avenue. We got our mind set on the enemy being this, and we need to get our eraser out on our definition of Satan and start erasing because we got it wrong. And we need to start writing down Satan is a weakling, a liar, etc. And saying that I have greater power than him. And I need to put him in his spot. Satan, you cannot ever enjoy the love of God. Satan, you can never go to heaven. And I'm going to remind you of this every day. I'm going to make you so upset because guess what? You cannot have what I can have. And I'm going to push you out of the way and tell you to get lost. And some may say, oh, I don't want to make him upset. He's going to throw stuff at you anyway. And he can throw no more at you than what God would even put. God holds his hands back, because if people argue with me all the time about that, or don't argue, but they come at me saying, well, he can do this and do that. If he had the power to do what he wanted to do, would you have a house right now? That's it. You're exactly right, sister. He cannot go no further than God will allow him to go. Because if he would let you, if he could do it, he would destroy your home right now. He would destroy your vehicle right now. He would take your family out and destroy them, everyone, with cancer and all the problems that he could create in you. All your parents or whoever's alive that's left in your family, he would put every sickness he could put on them. And on you, he could put it all on you. But we need to erase it. We need to renew our mind in this area. We need to begin to renew our mind on who Satan is. We need to start putting down these things that the Word says about him, not what we've created. See, that's where we've messed up. It's what we've created in our mind about things and about situations. Not only about Satan, but about many things. And it's caused us to not be encouraged and excited about church. Because if we was, there'd be more than us here tonight. I'm thankful for what we have here tonight. And I will preach to you just as much as I would if we had standing room only and them out through the parking lot, and we'd have to get on the CB and say, breaker, breaker out there. Can y'all hear me? And that day's coming. But guess what? This is what God is calling renewing of the mind. What we've got to do, as I was telling my cousin from the beginning of this 4 years ago, I began to share with my cousin, it's a minister, a Baptist minister, the things that God has been sharing with us. And I told him one of the things that the Lord began to show me is there's some things we haven't got right. There's some things that we didn't get all the pieces. Understanding, as you got to understand, get it right in what Jesus is talking about, the parable of the sower. Understanding, the Greek means to bring the pieces together. And we have not brought the pieces together right, or we ain't brought them together at all, or whatever. And there's some areas in our life that we need to renew. We need to go back and look and renew our mind and get it right with the Word, with what this Bible says, not what Shane Breeding says, but what this Word says. We need to get it right. And when we get that renewing of the mind right, like we said, the power of renewing the mind, we'll get our encouragement back, we'll get our excitement back, get all these things back in our life that we really need. Because when we started out as that little baby, that newborn baby spiritually, that's when God wanted to start instructing us. This is one of the areas that I started writing down in my notes up there in one of the bulletins. We had a girl this morning become saved and become a child of the King. We need to start teaching her the right way, so that her mind is given the instructions the right way, not the wrong way. Don't let her learn things the wrong way. Let her learn the right way. Then God will teach her the rest of the things. But when it comes to the Word in areas that we know, we need to start instructing her. And there's people here that are called to do that. There's people here to instruct people. Bradley, and well, excuse me for bringing out names, but they will be back. They're going to be in this. And they're going to need someone to teach them the right ways. If that's me and God wants me to do it, I'll do it. I'll be glad to help people have life and have it more abundantly. Don't make the same mistakes that I made along the way. Don't picture Satan as this big, gargantuan dragon that has all this power and might, that knows everything and is able to walk all over you and me and able to do everything. And we're nothing. We're just these little beings that's walking around going, ooh, where's he at? Let me hide from that dragon. Let me hide from him. No. God never intended for us to run from Him. He intended for us to walk